What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. This is going to be the Ask Jordan I was talking about in the last video. I got some good feedback on there. A lot of people enjoyed the recipe for those New York steaks. And also a lot of people were talking about actually doing it themselves too. So that's awesome. Like I said in the previous video, this is going to be kind of like from this is from my point of view. And I'm going to try to kind of talk through people who write in their situations and kind of like maybe if I have some sort of connections that I have to it that I can speak on, or just generally like the whole situation and like how I would handle it from the man's point of view as well. Hello, I would love to share my story with you. I've been married for 21 years. It hasn't been easy. I have 2 daughters, a 21-year-old, and my youngest is 7. So that's a big gap. I left my husband last year. I moved out from our home. Now it's been a year. It's been really hard. I let people get in the middle of our relationship, including my family. Wow. Yeah. I'm gonna continue reading this and then I'll give my comments on it. My sisters desperately wanted me to leave him, so I did. Now it's been a year and I haven't heard from them. No support whatsoever. I'm assuming that she hasn't heard from her family. So she hasn't heard from the people that actually maybe gave her the push to actually leave her husband. No support whatsoever, not even a call. I know it's weird, but my still husband has been the only one supporting me, making sure we are okay, and still fighting for his family. It hasn't been easy, but I'm taking counseling sessions every week, and it has helped me so much. Self-love is very important. I learned to put myself first and my kids, not caring for other people's opinion, including my family. I want to fix my marriage, even if I have to cut some people out of my life. I know I'll be judged by everyone. I think it's time to go home, but it scares me. Here's the thing, so you're taking the proper steps in, like you're saying, you are going to counseling sessions. You already know, and you're telling yourself about, self-love is important. You're putting yourself and also your kids before anything. And if that means that your family, if they have to take a back seat or completely cut off just because of the negativity that is coming from your family when they were supporting you to leave your husband, you did it, and then at the time that you needed the most support, they basically turn their back on you. And they're not even going to answer any calls. They're not, just zero support that you actually need at that time. And the only one that is still by your side and still supporting you, still wants to stay a family, is your husband, whom you have left. If he is still fighting to be with you and keep you all together as a family, that seems like he's doing the right thing. Whether or not, I don't know the complete story on whether or not what his actions were to get to this point, or if it was something basic as in maybe you two like grown apart. From my point of view, not knowing what your husband has done for you to leave him, it seems like he is taking this very seriously. And if he still wants to keep you all together as a family, and if you still love him and you want to be a family, but you need to make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, because if your family has to be cut off, if all they are negativity and they're only going to bring you down and they're going to keep your family apart, that is something that you cannot stand for. And no matter what, if they're blood or not, I have also had to make separations in my family, and I come from a very, I don't have a big family, so that's something I can connect with you on, because yeah, it it feels horrible because you're not talking with your family, and in the end, it's for good. Because the only people that I bring around me bring positivity to me and also my family. I don't want any negativity around me. I believe that if you have negativity around you, and that will brush off on you. And maybe your family is the negativity that brushed off on you to actually go through with leaving your husband, and then now you can see that he is fighting to get back together, bring his family back. I don't feel like you should feel horrible about anyone judging you. If what you're doing is right for you first of all, and then also right for your kids. If those two things make sense, and being a family is what you want and brings you happiness, and you know that you guys are going to be able to be together, and it's good for them, but also good for you and him as well. Because you don't want to be together based on, most likely just for the younger one, because the 21-year-old is probably not in the house anymore. You go on to say, I think it's time to go home, but it scares me. The wording here is very important, to me at least, when you say this. You think it's time to go home. Have you really thought this through? Because this is very important, because you can't put yourself in that situation again if you think that there isn't a possibility of you wanting to leave your husband, separating from your husband. But like you're saying here, it scares you to do this, to go through with this. Maybe your reasoning behind why you separated from your husband, because all I'm getting here is that maybe your family has some sort of they dislike your husband, and specifically your sister and you were talking probably a lot about this, and like I said earlier, you wouldn't have probably went through with this if it wasn't for your sister. So you need to really think about this situation, and is it good for you? Because if you aren't happy, then it's not going to work. You can't force yourself to be happy. You can't force yourself to love someone and it to actually work. Maybe get a piece of paper. Let's get a pros and cons list of what are the pros of this, what are the cons? Because in the end, if your cons outweigh the pros of you being together with your husband, it's not going to be a good time. Because driving someone to the point of being separated from someone they love, there's got to be a lot of cons going on here, because you don't do that out of love for someone. You don't separate from them. You don't break your family apart. So, and in no way, shape, or form am I throwing any sort of judgment at you. What caused you to get to this point? And it can't just be from your family telling you to leave him. That just doesn't make a lot of sense unless there's a lot of issues that you've been telling your family and feeding them, and all of that has just built up and your family's just tired of it. They probably already didn't like him very much, and it's easily...
There are some people who just don't like you to be with anyone.
Yeah.
There's some families that will do anything to separate you with whoever you're with.
They want to see you unhappy.
Yeah, they want to see you alone.
Yeah.
And they'll act like, oh, I'm going to be here for you. But when you're there, they just want to see you alone. No family, no husband, no kids. So if that's the case, don't listen.
And what Bill Higa just said makes a lot of sense in your situation, because what happened after you separated from your husband? What did she do? She turned her back so quick on you probably that you didn't even see it coming. But I don't know how good your relationship is with your sister. I don't know how that is. To me, seeing that they turned their back on you, I can't imagine your relationship with your sister is very strong.
You know how to solve this is easily. You have a 21-year-old daughter, right?
Yeah.
Would you want your daughter to find someone like the guy? Would you be happy? Would you be content if you died tomorrow and be like, she's with someone she loves. For example, if I were to die tomorrow, Ariel's 21, 23, or an adult, and she were to find someone just like you, I would die in peace. Don't date someone you wouldn't want your daughter to date.
Yeah, it's true. That's a good point. I'm gonna tell you right now, I completely, from my point of view in this situation, I don't think you should get back together with that person. If you're driven to the point of separation when you're married, I don't think there's any way to mend that bridge. To you know what I mean? To actually reconstruct it and get it back working. That's the breaking point. Separation. You don't just separate with someone and be like, oh yeah, we're taking a little break, and then we come back together. Oh, we're extremely happy. No. So in closing, I'm just gonna kind of recap some things and just say, your family does not have your best interests in their mind, specifically your sister. And if you think that you're gonna get judgment from cutting off your family, there's no way at all. You should. There's a lot of people that cut off their family. They cut off a lot of people. There's no judgment. You shouldn't care what anyone else thinks, as long as you are happy, and as long as you are providing a safe environment and a loving environment for your 7-year-old, because that is the most important thing. You know, after that important thing, you need to make sure that you're happy and that you're being loved the right way. You're being loved the way you need to be loved, because if you're not being satisfied, if you come home every day, if you dread coming home every day, or you dread that person walking through the door after they get off work, what kind of that's no way to live. In this situation, I don't feel like you are ready or want to go back to him. Right?
Yeah, because when you know you want to be with someone, you
just do it. That shouldn't scare you to be back.
Yeah, you should.
I truly am sorry that's happening to you, but in the end, it's only showing your sister and your family's true colors. No matter what, these are how they are, and nothing will change that. And the quicker that you cut off all this negativity, the better you're gonna feel. I promise you that. Cut off all the negativity. Just surround yourself with positive people. Love yourself, like you're saying. Keep on going to those counseling sessions. Those are great. But just make sure if you do decide to go back to him, that you do it for the right reasons. Because right now, I don't think that's what you want to do. I really appreciate if you all listened this far, specifically to the person that wrote in. I'm once again gonna say I'm so sorry that you're in this situation. I really appreciate that you wrote in, and in no way, shape, or form am I throwing judgment your way or making the situation seem like it's ridiculous or whatnot. I'm fully trying to give you a broad overview of what I'm seeing in this situation, trying to give you an outside perspective. Maybe you're not thinking about right now. Maybe this video is going to help you realize some things that you haven't been thinking about this whole time. I really hope this does help you, because I want the best for you and for everyone. I want everyone to live happy lives and be loved and just surround themselves with positive people. You got to get rid of the negative people. You got to cut them off, even if it's your family. You got to get rid of them. Or keep them in moderation. At least moderation. You cannot surround yourself all the time. You can't go to them with your problems, because they're only going to make it about themselves. Thank you all so much for watching this. I really hope this gets some good feedback. If you guys enjoy this type of video, I can keep doing them. Once again, it's going to be down in the description. You're going to go ahead and you're going to submit an email. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to me, and also leave a comment down below, because I always try to respond to all of them. Doofy out.